Hello my quilting family. Today we're here with block 5 of our coffee themed quilt along. Now this is going to be such a cute little latte block, or latte cup block I should say, and it's really easy to sew together. So all the cutting instructions are listed below. It's going to remain a free pattern for as long as YouTube's around, and we would love to have you come and help me sew this. Okay, so come on in a little closer and we'll show you how this is done. Okay, so this is how I lay out the block beforehand. It helps keep me a little bit better organized, right? So with this latte cup that we're doing, you might have to find some bigger material for your cup, because this is no longer a jelly roll strip. This is 3.5 by 6.5, right? So, but with everything else, you could probably do from a jelly roll. So you can go through your scraps or whatever. So what I'm going to start with first is the saucer shape. So I'm going to go through, and I'm just going to leave one of them there. Now I've got just a regular foot on here, and what I'm going to do is figure out on the batik, which is the right side, and then just lay this and sew from point to point here. Now you could draw a line, or you could iron it flat and fold it, right? Or you could just finger press it, and it would probably be enough for you to go through such a short little block. So, like I say, these are pretty easy little blocks. So anyways, what I'm going to do is do the saucer first, the 1/2 of the saucer. And then I'm just going to put that there so I know where I'm at. And then I'm going to start on the handle. Now I picked the handle up in rotation, so I know what I'm, kind of keep in mind what I'm doing. So I do the bottom of the handle first. And then I do this little piece next, right? And that kind of helps me stay organized, because it's just going to be a quick little short 1/4 inch seam that I can run through very quickly. And then this last piece, where it'll go from here to here. Now I'm going to, wait a minute here, trim off this bit and take, now this angle is going this way, I want it to be sewing this way, right? So I'm going to just flip this over and start right here. And now I'm going to clip free the handle parts. And I'm just going to open up those seams to reduce bulk. Like, I'm not cutting away the excess. I'm redistributing. That's why you press open. And you can kind of get a good press just by doing finger press. You can also use, if you don't have fingernails, you can also use one of these tools. I mean, you know, whatever you need to make this happen. And then I trim off the excess part of the triangles. There we go. And I just finger press that bias seam open. And I'm very careful with it, because I don't want to stretch it, right? So, oh boy. Okay. So that's how that handle is going to go, right? So now I'm just going to put 2 pieces together. There, line them up the best you can. And I'm going to change feet right away, because I like that 1/4 inch foot that I have for this machine. I know these new machines, they're so fast to change the feet on them. I don't know, I'm debating whether or not I should get one. I just can't, I just have a hard time spending that much money on a brand new machine. And I get the thread. Okay, now. Now I put the base of that handle down. Okay. And I make sure when I'm sewing these seams don't flip closed, right? Because that's important. Now I've got the saucer to deal with. And again, I'm just going to clip off the excess. I've got them going the right way so they'll look like a saucer when I'm done. As I'm sewing these, as I sew blocks, I sew like a few of them at a time, so I've got them layered up on my design board. But you can do one at a time if you want, if that's what you're comfortable sewing, or you know, or do one and then do the rest in bulk or whatever, just to see how you're doing this. Okay, here we go. And now I'm going to trim off this bit here and open this seam and put this with this, and I'm going to put it so I know I can see my seam so I don't flip it. And I always have a little bits and bobs of stuff here hanging on the side, so I'm just going to quickly finger press those open and then give the hourglass a little there, like this. This is from a different project that I've hung on to it. But it makes a good leader ender. And now I'm going to sew the entire handle together. Very quick. Just press open everything. Like I say, there's different tools that you can use for pressing. There's one with a roller that works really well too, I've seen. Okay, now your handle's all going to go together. I've sewed it wrong! Oh no! That's how it needs to go. So you notice how I just pull that apart, right? So that's, you know, people get all crazy when they have to start picking threads and all the rest of stuff. You know, sometimes all you need to do is just pull it apart and re-sew it. You don't have to get crazy with it. You don't have to do anything with it other than just fix it. Fix it now. And I've got no threads there. Just finger press that new seam open and pull out all the excess threads. Put this down together. Now I want to make sure I don't flip that seam now that I've readjusted everything. Okay, let me go back to what I was doing here before with the hourglass blocks, little hourglass blocks. These are fun to do. They're a good way of moving through little pieces, and these are little cut-offs of 2.5-inch strips. Basically those stitch and flips, and then I'll take them to my cutting table later and trim them down to 2 inches. So we can put those into the quilt, into the border if we want, or just have them in my orphan block bin. See, now that, once it's all sewn, looks like a handle, right? That goes here, like that. Now this is where you can change if you want all your handles facing right or facing left. That's fine. I have moved mine around and I've bounced mine around, and I've designed these blocks so that basically, if you want it to go to the other direction, you just switch it like that, right? Very simple. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to leave it like this, and I'm going to sew the body to the handle first, because that takes up a lot of seams. That's probably the most difficult seam to do, because you've got probably the most little ones that you have to make sure are flipped correctly. And I just go through very quickly. And then we'll do the other side of the body once we get this. I mean, you could almost leave this pressed this way, couldn't you? And just press it to the least resistance. Pressing open is actually a very good way of handling some bulk at times. We got the bigger piece on the bottom, and there's no seams that I'm going to go worry about on this one. And get it big enough. Basically what we're doing is we're trying to get it big enough now so the saucer will fit on it. Okay. open. Once you get all the inside pieces and you're just left with the outside bits, then the outside bits all go to the bottom. Now you got 2 going at the bottom and 2 at an angle. So it's up to you how you sew this, but you want to make points. You want to make your point. So you want to see that point on top, right? So that's how I decide what's going on top and what's going on the bottom. Usually it's the bigger piece on the bottom, but when you're doing something with a bunch of seams like this, it might be advantageous to have the piece with all the seams facing up. But these have both the same seams and the same amount of seams, so the bigger piece can go on the bottom. Okay, now we attach the sides. Okay, just a minute here, let me finger press this open. So we have the basic block now, the latte cup, and we're just going to put on the sides. Once I get this open, and all the side pieces, all the outside side pieces, you just press to the outside. Okay, so now we're going to do the handle, because that has the most seams, and I've got the bigger piece on top because I want to make sure I hit this point right here where my saucer is. I don't know if we can get this any closer for you, but there's a little point that if this big piece is on the bottom, I can't see where that point is to make my saucer point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it started and make my point, whether I have to steer a bit to make the point or, oh, it's just coming lovely. It just came lovely all by itself, so I'm doing good. So then we just go through the rest of the handle. You don't have to worry too much about the other points, but if you make them, you make them. If not, fabric is very forgiving. It's fine. And it'll still look cute. Your thing will, your coffee quilt will look great. So now we're just gonna finger press that open. And see, I've made my point on that coffee mug, or the saucer. And I've also probably did not a bad job making the point on the handle, right? Because I can see it. I can see where I need to be. Now the only point I need on this one is where the saucer is. Okay. And I'm going to try and make my point. Oh, just perfect. Yay! A little steering, but not too bad. Now, I can choose to make this a top or a bottom. It doesn't matter, because I'm just going to press out. Oh, these are both the same size, so we will just whatever. There we go. Oops, hang on. Make this happen. Here. And you want to make sure, like with these blocks too, if your 1/4 inch seam is a little too chubby, you can ease the block in because these are longer strips, right? Because if your 1/4 inch seam is a little chubby, this piece ends up being a little short, but you can ease it in. And easing it in is putting the longer piece on the bottom, and you let the feed dogs in your sewing machine do the work of easing in that longer piece to the shorter piece. But there we go, and here we go. Okay. And now we're just going to get this one. The last piece. And we go. And I do have one last hourglass to sew. I might as well get that one sewn while I'm here. There. These are cute and they're useful. They're a good little thing to have kicking about. Okay, there we go. Now we get our block done, and here it is. Okay, let me give this a real quick press, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the other blocks I made. Now, here's the mock-up of block 5 of our coffee cup themed quilt. Quilt along. It's you know, a mock-up is a really good idea, especially if you're not sure how a pattern is going to go together, or you're new at this. You can play with this in any, you know, you have some options as to how you're going to do this. One of the things one of my guild sisters had said is that when she does her mock-ups, she does them all in 30 reproductions. So when she puts her orphan block into her bin, at one point, all of those orphan blocks get sewn together and they all work together because they're all vintage 30 reproduction prints. So if you want to just sew from your scraps, that's okay too, because you can make these blocks go in wherever you think they'll work, right? So when you're trying to empty out your orphan block bin. But a mock-up block is a really excellent way to go through and just see how a pattern works. Now, my mock-up block, I want to show you something here with this mock-up block. The handle here is not curved. So I made a decision, because this is the block we just sewed, I made a decision to curve my handle once I made my mock-up, right? Because this is just straight and square, where this is definitely a curve. It was a design choice for myself, and I thought, no, it looks better if it's curved a little bit. But like I say, doing a mock-up, you might get to this mock-up and say, oh, I like it square. I don't want it curved. That's your choice. It's your quilt. You can make a design choice. So this is the block we made just minutes or seconds ago. And like I say, the coffee cup handle is going same direction as the mock-up. But this one, it's not. It's going the other way. But that's my choice, because I'm making my coffee mugs go one way and the other way. And it's kind of random, because that's where my coffee cup cupboard is, like in my kitchen. So this is how I'm sewing it together. We're doing a little bit unexpected backgrounds, which is also a really cool trick that designers use to make their quilts look a little more modern, a little more fresh. So we did the black and brown coffee bean from the jelly roll. And here is my orange and latte cup with a blue saucer. So the little blue bits are going to be sprinkled around, and the orange bits are going to be sprinkled around the entire quilt with the black background, or it reads as solid, but it's basically a black on black from the coffee line. And then, this is my favorite one. It's the blue cup with the yellow saucer and a red background. It's bright, it's cheerful, it just makes me smile when I put this one together. I thought, perfect. So, I'm going to show you all the other blocks we've got. These are blocks we made the last couple of weeks. They're just, we're having fun with these, and it's going to be more and more of them all the time. See, oh, very cute. And these are from, prior episodes. I think this one's block 3. I'll just show you a quick one or two here. My favorite one from block 3 is this red with the little fussy cut coffee. And then this is block 1 and 2. So we are choosing unexpected backgrounds, right? Like most people expect a neutral, a low volume neutral. Well, you can pick any background you want on this, whatever you have, essentially. So there's my white coffee mug, or white-ish coffee mug. So I'm going to be back next week I can't decide whether I'm showing you the sugar bowl first or the creamer first because they're just cute. They're just cute. So we're going to have 2 more weeks of either a sugar bowl or a creamer for next week. So next Friday, come back. The cutting instructions are all below. It's going to remain a free pattern. So I hope you try this. This is going to be fun. I haven't drafted out the coffee pot yet, but it will be oversized to have all these cute little blocks floating all around it. So come on back. Come on back next Friday and we'll show you what we're doing here today. Okay, bye. Have a great week. If you have questions about what you saw on this video, or you have ideas for content or something you want to see us do, please put those comments in the description below. But also, while you're there, like, share, and subscribe with your friends. That would really help us out. Okay, I want to thank you and have a great day.